Are less than the engineer's estimate. Community development block grant funds are 50% of the cost, so their funding will be reduced. At the same time, the DDA funding is 28.6% of the project, so their dollars that they're anticipating paying will go down, as well as the local street funds. So overall, everybody gets a savings on this project because it came in less than we had anticipated. So it's my recommendation that council approve the bids from CL Trucking for a cost of $326,231 and authorize the mayor to sign any documents as necessary.
Questions for Dan? Motion to approve.
So moved.
I'll second.
Discussion. Sue.
Councilmember Yankovic.
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers.
Yes.
Councilmember Groves.
Yes.
Mayor DeVore.
Yes.
And Councilmember Salzweedl.
Yes.
Engineer Services, Dan.
Well, with a construction project comes the need to oversee the work that's being done by the contractor to assure the city that it is being done as we anticipated through our project specifications. Our engineers, Homes of Works, have provided us with the scope of services for the work. Their services would include contract documentation, construction staking, construction observation of the proposed work, as well as engineering work as required to address and resolve issues as they arise, documentation of the construction activities and pay quantities, and they also will coordinate material testing, and then they will handle any of the contract administration through the process, through the project, finalize paperwork at the end. Williams & Works has indicated they can do all this work, including material testing for a cost not to exceed $35,500. Because 2 blocks of Amity Street project are within the Downtown Development Authority, the DDA will pay 28.6% of the construction and engineering work, or $10,150, and the local street funds will pay the remaining. Be my recommendation that we approve the Amity Street Improvement Project Construction Engineering Services with Williams & Works as outlined in their scope of services dated May 5th for the amount of $35,500.
Questions for Dan? Any questions for Dave? Motion.
I'll make that motion that we accept the bid at 35, or not to exceed $35,500.
Support.
Discussion. Sue.
Councilmember Groves.
Yes.
Mayor DeVore.
Yes.
Councilmember Salzweedl.
Yes.
Councilmember Yankovic.
Yes.
And Councilmember Chambers.
Yes.
Dan, one more.
Well, with Jane Ellen project beginning fairly soon, again, we need to have some construction engineering oversight during the work. Williams & Works provided us again with the scope of services for this work. That entails everything that's necessary to construction staking, observation, engineering work, documentation, and everything that's necessary. Williams & Works has indicated they can do it all for $26,500. This project is slated to begin either mid-June or early July. Be my recommendation that we approve J. Ellen Drive Improvement Project Construction and Engineering Services with Williams & Works as outlined in the scope of services dated May 5 for the amount of $26,500.
Questions for Dan? Questions for Dave? Motion.
I'll make the motion for the J. Ellen Drive improvement to Williams & Works.
I'll support. Discussion. Sue.
Mayor DeVore.
Yes.
Councilmember Salzweedl.
Yes.
Councilmember Yankovic.
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers.
Yes.
And Councilmember Groves.
Yes.
Comprehensive tree plan, Dan.
Yes, I was kind of hoping the board chairperson, Mr. Reagan, would be here tonight, but I can walk through this one here. Harbor Board reviewed its comprehensive tree plan on May 10th meeting and is presented in front of you there in the packet of information that was given to you. This past year with COVID, the Harbor Board has met only 2 times in basically April and May of this year. For the past year, they haven't been meeting because of COVID. Some of the steps that we're trying to do is they're working on the urban forest canopy up through town. As if you look on the comprehensive tree plan, it hasn't changed a whole lot from last year to this year, but there's still some concerns with removing of trees from the city streets around town and trimming as needed. There's also still a concern to get the downtown tree plan developed, as well as keeping an eye on being part of the process for development of the open properties on Monroe Street, just off of the library property down through there, as well as the Avery lots. This past year, we did plant a tree for Arbor Day at the Meds Cafe that so we get a picture on. They're also the Arbor Board's reviewing tree trimming, tree removals for the low light and power in areas around town in the street right of way. Trees that light and power feels are up into the power lines are going to be very soon. They gave a list to the Arbor Board at their May meeting, and we'll be reviewing that and coming back with input to low light and power at the next Arbor Board meeting, which will be on September 2nd Monday in September.
Questions for Dan? Questions for Jim?
No, other than what Dan said, I think Ryan came in and presented his case well on those trees. I did visit them. There are some pretty rough looking trees. Unfortunately, there is one really, really nice burgundy maple that somebody planted in a right away. It's real sad to possibly see that come down, but other than that, the other trees could be removed and then replanted with 2 new trees somewhere throughout the city, so that's kind of a nice thing. So, and I gave my report to Perry. That's what he was talking about. Instead of Jim Hodges, it was me, but that's okay.
This is Jim Hodges for a lot of years.
Exactly. So that's all right.
Motion to approve the 21-22 comprehensive tree plan.
I make a motion to approve the tree plan.
I'll support.
Any other discussion? Sue?
Councilmember Salzweedl,
Yes.
Councilmember Yankovic.
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Groves,
Yes.
and Mayor DeBoer.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dan. Board and Commission report. Leah?
I am now on the Arbor Board. I was pleased to be there. I think you just heard a pretty good overview of what we just went over last week. We have Chambers Expo is happening on June 12th. All looks good there. And then Parks and Rec meets tomorrow, so.
Good.
Nothing there.
Morning.
Mine will be next week.
Jim?
No, next month, I guess.
What's that?
Because mine got canceled this month.
Right,
yeah. Okay, next month. I was on the phone conversation part of the Little Line Power. I joined in about 7:20, about 10:04, I think, get that done. But a lot of good conversation. I do have to say that board is very diverse. They had some conversation in regarding healthcare, and with Tina on that, her background, it was great. And then you got the other guys with their engineering degrees, so it's really well put together, really thought out, and you know, my phone battery did not die. I had it charged all the time, so yeah.
Was it charged with low light power electricity? Just
Full
asking.
battery off my truck. So yeah, so that's all I got.
All right. Cliff?
We mentioned the Look Fund earlier. We had $40,000 roughly in grant requests. We had about $16,000 to spend. So we gave rough numbers, $5,000 to Lowell Arts to upgrade some lighting for their gallery, and for they got to make some changes when they have plays. So we did that, and the rest of it went to the Showboat. Showboat asked for 30. Obviously, when we only had 16, it was an uncomfortable meeting. An hour later, I had Alara getting close to the final push. It's pretty much do or die this fall. But there's a gentleman that lives in town, Dave Austin.
Never heard.
Never heard of him. Those guys, I've said it before, it bears repeating. I feel like a rookie on there, and they've been kicking butt for a lot of years, and we're making an appeal to the Fred Meyer people to help fund the last little bit that needs to be closed. And actually, Dave was fairly confident that it was going to go through.
I've been spending a lot at Myers lately to help
Well, you can't top that, so you.
No.
Fire authority canceled this month, and, what's it called? The thing. Vision is tomorrow. Vision is tomorrow at 4. Any questions on the budget report?
I know I was gonna update the report and give you more detailed line items, but we didn't do that this month. I apologize for that. But I mean, really, I've been tracking monitoring the fund. Nothing really has changed from what I've told you. From the last month, we're gonna be coming with you end of June. We will be coming with our annual amendments. It's gonna be the same issues that we talked about before. The police department with their part-time pay because of the shooting. Obviously the attorney fees are gonna be significantly higher due to a number of events we've had to deal with. But we've also gotten significantly a lot more revenue than we had anticipated. In addition, before the end of this fiscal year, I found out today we're supposed to get another $15,000 of our public police payroll that we requested back last summer. So we had requested for $92,000 in reimbursement from the state of Michigan through the CARES Act, and so far we've received $46,000 of that request, and I found out today we're going to get an additional $15,000 of that request. In addition to, and I'll talk about that in my manager report, the money we're going to get from the American Recovery Plan. But yeah, that's so. And then obviously, as I told you before, the data processing fund, we did have to make an amendment to that fund because we've had a lot of IT costs that Charlie and I are becoming much more overly attentive to, and we're working with Core HiCom and Adoriel to get those costs in line. That's all I have for the budget report.
Okay, any questions for Mike? Questions on any of the monthly reports? City manager report.
Yep. Forgot to mention this on the issue with the traffic control. I did reach out to MDOT last week to see if we could get additional speed radar signs downtown. They told us we could not. We also asked if we can move our speed signs a little bit closer in between each other. They would require us to do another speed study. I do not recommend doing another speed study because it could come up with a result that we don't want. So I would just stand mute on that issue right now. I've been working with the Showboat Garden Club with the estate money that we received. The first thing we are talking about doing is putting bridge boxes in, and I'm going to be meeting with them in a couple of weeks to discuss that further. We did receive the rules last week from the American Recovery Plan. I think the ideas I've mentioned previously we can do. Another thing that we can do, and I have to do the math on it, but they will let us take if our revenues don't increase, our general fund revenues don't increase by 4% each year since the 2019 fiscal year budget, that money can be replaced. The ERP money can be used to replace that cost. I don't think our even though we've got a lot of CARES Act money and stuff this year, I don't really think our budget has gone up 4% general fund revenue wise. So I have to do some analysis to see if there's a mathematical formula that I would have to follow with the federal government if we went that route. But also the payroll reimbursement is an option as well. So I'll continue to evaluate that. The state receives, so we would be what's called a non-entitlement community. Every county got an allocation. The state of Michigan got an allocation. Every city over 50,000 people in the state of Michigan got a direct allocation. We are what's called a non-entitlement fund, and the state gave $644 million, or the federal government gave the state $644 million for non-entitlement communities. We are one of those non-entitlement communities. We're supposed to find out in the next couple days how much we're going to get. So that 411,000 may be what we're supposed to get, but it also may not be. So until I get that information from the state, I really don't know. And Treasury said they were going to announce this week more about that. And I apologize for having my son here tonight. My babysitter didn't show up, and when your wife is an associate superintendent, about to become a superintendent hopefully, she had to be at her meeting, and I had no option, so hopefully he wasn't too much of a bother. That's all I have.
Is that covered in the charter anywhere?
It might be.
Jessica?
Okay, any questions for Mike or Nolan? Appointments, Jeff Altoff's gonna continue on the airport board. I got an email about that today. And Jake Davenport has applied for historic district, and he's here if you guys want to interview him. I think we all know him. So if there's no objections, we'll appoint Jake to HDC. Yeah,
That's why you said DDA.
no,
That's
HDC.
My bad.
And no other applications. Council comments, Cliff.
Happy birthday, Leah.
Oh.
Oh,
Get out of here. Come on, Cliff. Thank you.
She actually gave me $10 not to say that.
No refunds?
I don't need the money.
No? Well, you only turned 21 once. Jim,
I'm good tonight, thank you.
Marty.
Just like to say that it's good to have roads in front of us, and we're moving forward to getting our streets slowly repaired and replaced, but it is happening. And 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when I first got on the seat, that didn't seem like it was ever going to happen, and we're doing it. And that's thanks to Dan, and thanks to Chief for taking the time out of his busy schedule to do the speed study survey for us. I appreciate it very much. And happy birthday. I wish we had known. We had
Thank you.
we had
No,
bought
no.
cupcakes and balloons.
Birthday girl.
Oh, God. I got nothing besides just a big thank you for putting together the budget, for getting the roads organized, and the efforts there, and to Lowell PD for their efforts in studying our speed. I've seen some jokes on Facebook about seeing seeing the cops out on the roads. So it seems like you're slowing people down just by being out there, so.
And you noticed.
They do notice, yeah, they definitely notice, so good efforts by all.
All right, happy birthday. Jim.
Make a motion to adjourn at 8:06.
I'll support.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, we're adjourned.